Ooh, ooh, ooh. Ladies, gentlemen, gamers, and fellow Tower of God enthusiasts, and anime lovers, and haters of all kinds, welcome back. It is another Sunday. And if it's Sunday, usually me and the Unholy Hairline
Mm-hmm.
are here. And we are here to review the newest episode of Tower of God. So we are on episode 16. The 25th bomb is the title. Very nice title there. One of the greatest titles ever. Magnificent title. I couldn't have thought of a better
Yup.
title myself. However, we are here not to review the title. We are here to review the episode. Thankfully, there's no ending. I'm still not used to it, by the way. Like I still am like, oh, we need to go through the ending credits. We see what's new. Nope, none of that. We're just gonna hop right in to what we thought of the episode.
Mm-hmm.
So, Hairline, what did you think of the episode? Did you like anything?
What did I think of the episode? I thought it was all right. So,
Mm-hmm.
so a lot of how I feel about episodes is like a comparison from the past episode. In the last episode, I felt like we went off like really hard. So this
Yes.
episode kind of felt like less like bad, I guess.
Uh huh. Uh huh.
It still had its things and stuff like that. But I noticed that like they just pissed me off how like they made people move so awkward in the last episode, which was like a big combat episode, and then this episode like people are running like better, I guess.
I
Like when
know
Kun was
exactly what you're
jogging, he
referencing.
looked like he was running way better than when like they're making pretty much everyone else running. Oh, I think you just saw it right
Yeah,
there.
right
Yeah,
here
right there. So like, look, it's not perfect, but like, why couldn't they do that
for
when the other people were
Shibisu.
running? Yeah, Shibisu, like Hots, and everyone when they were running in that last episode. Like, it's who did this? Who did this stuff? They got like different people doing things. I don't
I
know.
have
I
to
mean, I know it's like a
interject
team,
here.
but it's like, where's the quality control?
So I gotta interject here, right? And
Yeah, yeah.
it's not my turn yet, but all I gotta say, man, I didn't think you could do much with running, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like we're in the current fucking era now, right? What this means is that we're finding out that like not only is there big variances with quality with a lot of different things, like nowadays it's a gamble, right? You're gonna get something either really good or just whatever. Like there's a lot of in between now. Whereas back in the
Mm-hmm.
day, I think things were a lot more consistent. Uma Musume. For those of you who don't know what that is, it's fucking pretty horse girl derby. I forgot the exact name, but it's basically an anime about horse girls that's from a gacha. Again, I didn't think you could do much with running. They fucking go crazy with the running. Like it's all over TikTok because they're making fun of Blue Lock, and thankfully they haven't made fun of Tog yet. But Blue Lock is the ire of their eye.
I think they
But
should make fun of Tug.
I think they should too. We
They
need
need to
some,
expose them.
yeah, we need some hot coals under their ass. But
Yeah.
after seeing what they could do with running there, it just hurts me, man. Like every aspect of this just hurts me seeing it. But
Yeah.
back to you.
Yeah. So like, we're all over this. Like, I feel like at this point, no one really cares. Like, no one's really looking for good quality. But like, whenever I see them step up, where they previously did something like shitty, it's like, why didn't you just keep it this way? So it's like it's
Budget.
like things like this where like Kun is running like normally. Like, I don't think that's much harder than animating what they did last time. It's like, why did they just not do it?
Like, this looks like it could be a loop. Like they're just looping it. They could legit just
Yeah,
loop it.
yeah. It doesn't look great, but like the thing is that it doesn't like ruin my immersion. And I always go back to this point. It's like when I see Shibisu running like a goofball in that last episode
Like a
during like
goober.
what I assume is a serious part or whatever. It takes me away from the story. And like what I want to do when I'm watching this, I want to enjoy the story because that's what I'm here for, right? I mean,
Now,
I'm not here for the animation.
to play devil's advocate,
Yeah.
this could be because, if they're trying to make it make sense lore wise, Kun
hmm
is 10 family members. So maybe
Oh
that's
man.
why he can run properly.
I don't know. Yeah, whatever. And then they made Vespa as Vespa was flying too, just like flying horizontally across the screen. I was referring to the last episode. Oh, we're about to get to this later, but in the last episode when he was running with Shibisi, he was just like horizontally moving. Like they didn't even make him bump up and down. Like he was just like he was gliding across the screen. That shit was so smooth, like it was unnatural.
It was
The
unnatural.
move, so like what I'm trying to say is last episode was a heavy combat episode, and it was like some of the worst animation I think we've seen, just like around across the board. Like not even like the fighting parts, like obviously the fighting part, but like just the
Just
normal stuff
moving.
too for this fighting episode, for this combat oriented episode was
Uh-huh.
very harsh to watch. Here, I felt less of that, so I felt more good, like comfortable. This still has some fight scenes in it too, and they were pretty all right. But
Yeah.
uh, yeah, like I guess it's an improvement, is what I like to see.
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't know. So
Basically,
mhm.
yeah. So it's like we sound. I don't want to make it sound like we're apologists, but like more of the time when we talk about it, we're taking it in context. You know, I feel like we have to keep saying this because sometimes, aside from last episode where I really got angry, we take it in stride, right? Like we already kind of are here, and we kind of know, like, all right, we know what we're in for. We know, like, this is gonna be too good. But it's just like, man, when it keeps popping up, it's just like I get reminded of it. It's like, man, what the fuck?
Mm-hmm.
But this one, thankfully, wasn't like a full combat episode. Like it was lesser. There was still some, like Adrian said, but it was lesser than last time. But
Yeah, it
oh
wasn't like
man,
horrendous. Like we've seen much worse than this. So like putting everything relative to each other, like this episode was like all right, I guess. I don't know if you feel the same way, but
I mean, did
um
you like anything from it? Did you?
did I like anything? I liked the way they said Jubiolet Grace, and I like Repalejo. I like the way they just say the names, and then they call Wangnan OG-san. I can't get over that
What
shit.
about
So good.
Tarask?
A Tarask, yeah, dude. All the names are just so different,
And now
but they're
Adrian's an
fun to
expert.
say.
Adrian's an expert too, because he knows Japanese. And same as me. For those of you who don't know, for those of you who think we're just like your random everyday like jobbers who just review shit who know nothing. Well, number one, we obviously read the source material, so we're experts in this. But also number two, I actually studied Japanese in college, so I actually have a educational background in this shit, so you can't get one past me. Like, all these other reviewers out here, I'm not trying to start fights, I'm not trying to start no YouTube beef or nothing, but man, we're above them. They're down here, we're up here. They need to realize this. The fans need to realize we're people of merit, right? We're cool.
Yeah, we're historians, we're scholars.
Exactly, we're
Obviously.
smart people. I'll say the others aren't smart, but we're above them because we know Japanese and they don't. I don't even
Right.
need subtitles. But either way, this is where yeah, it's just the way they say the
sound
names
goofy.
is pretty funny. I don't know why.
I guess it's because like Japanese has certain sounds that they can't say, so they use other sounds to compensate for, like the whole katakana thing.
Yeah. But
Yeah, goofy. I like it.
yeah. Is there
And it
anything
has
else?
nothing to do with the anime.
Yeah, I know that. Like, think about that. One of your favorite parts is just them saying names. Like, are
Yeah.
you kidding me?
I guess that leans to one of my actual favorite parts, which is like the voice actors, who I like a lot. Like the voice actors do their job pretty well, I think, just across the board.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but what were parts that I liked? So you kind of gotta give it a fine scrub to figure out the parts that you actually like. I like the way Bomb hit the dude in the thing. Like we were
I'm
talking
gonna
about that, right? The
Yeah,
punch.
I'm gonna get to that. That's
Yeah.
something I'm gonna mention a
But the
lot too.
Vespa movement was kind of scuffed. I'll let you go into more detail on that.
Yeah. So
I think well, what else do I want to say about this episode
like,
before
oh
I
no,
pass
oh
over
my
to
god.
I kind of like the way they did the back thing that Bomb had too. I don't really know like
The
I
wing,
forget. Yeah, I forget how it looked like
the
in the
manhwa.
manhwa, and we're probably going to see that later.
We're
But I
gonna see
remember
it
this being
soon
kind of
here.
like a weird part where it's like a lot of readers didn't really understand what that was when we were first reading it. So it's cool to see it like represented in the anime. Well, I
Yeah.
also like that from the last episode we kind of made a thing that when Anok's spear came back bloodied when she was fighting Ran, it was actually Novik that she hit, but we didn't know that. And we thought that they missed it in the last episode, but turns out this episode, when Bomb talks to Novik, they have that whole conversation. So it's another thing of them moving things to different parts of the
Like,
story.
look at this shit.
Yeah, it looked really bad, but I'm just glad they
Like, it
it looked
poked
stupid.
him.
Yeah, it
It
was like
poked him, and he looks just more surprised. Like, oh
he was
shit.
donating blood. Yeah, it should have been like a really hard hit. Like she yeeted that spear, and it
Like,
came out just like boop, just.
it just like
Poked it.
poked him a little, like a mosquito bite, a big ass mosquito bite. Like,
Yeah.
oh my
So
god,
yeah, I don't know if I should give points for this because I'm happy that they put it in because I was upset at
you were
first because I was
missing
like, oh my
it.
god, they forgot it. You know what I mean? It was gonna be like another
Yeah,
Coon's Boy Scout like outfit
yeah.
situation where like we were getting upset they didn't keep that stuff. Which, by the way, no one
Zsa
ever
Zsa's
changes
pajamas,
clothes.
Zsa Zsa's
No one changes
pajamas.
clothes. Yeah, they just don't want to reanimate people in like different outfits, which is really
Cost
sad.
cost more budget. Give
Yeah.
them more
Hmm.
budget.
Yeah. So yeah, the poke. I don't know if I should deduct or add points. I guess it's like a net neutral because it's like they added it, so it made me happy. But then it was done really poorly, so it's kind of like whatever. So I'll
Is
just
it
leave
good that
that up
it's
in the
there at
air.
all? Even.
Yeah. Let's see what the crowd thinks about this. We'll leave this up to you guys.
Okay.
I think that's pretty much it. I also like the ending with Endorsi,
And
figuring out
Door, and Door.
that
That's where it actually
Jubiole
started.
Grace.
Yeah, Jubiole Grace. Look at him. You know,
Yeah,
I think I'll let the audio through for this one at least. Let's
right.
hear this one just so we can get a reference.
25日の夜です。
はあ、ど
Ah,
う見てもジュビオレグレイスでしょう。
Jubiole Grace.
Jubiole Grace.
They say it with a B. That's so
Yeah, the
funny.
B. Yeah, I love
Oh
it.
my
It's
god.
so good. And
Okay.
I feel like they said Jubiole Grace like 30 times this episode. There's like a huge counter for that. Maybe that's the reason why I pointed it out this time. It's just they just said it way too many times. But all right, to summarize, episode was like, mid, I guess.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't know. I enjoyed it, but I enjoyed it because I like the story. I've read it before. Same thing that I always say. So, yep, still looking for better stuff, but we'll be here next, or I'll be here next week to watch the next episode. So
Be
pass it on to you.
disappointed again. Okay, cool.
Mhm.
So, where do we even begin? I think this episode was like no matter what, it can't go below a certain amount because the story is still there. Like, thankfully, they're not changing gigantic parts of the story, right? If they were to do that, this show would be trash, utter trash. Now, again, I always say this: if this came out in like 2010s, it'd be pretty good. Common Era though, there's moments where it I don't want to say it shines, it glitters a little bit, but most of the time this shit's ass. So it can't be too ass because they are following the story and the story's good. But again, the point of an anime is to represent it well, right? And obviously it's to get it out there, but that's gonna happen no matter what if it's an anime.
Yeah.
So it
And if
needs
I
to
can
be done
intrude
well. Go ahead.
just a little bit, as you were saying, like the story is good, but sometimes the animation even takes away from the story because now you're thinking about how scuffed the animation is when you should be focusing on the story.
Yeah.
Which is something I worry about for like anime onlys who are like just too
So
hung up on the anime, can't focus.
yeah, so on that topic, I'm gonna put forth two ideas. So the first thing directly off of that idea is, for anime only watchers here, it's this part here with Novik that I want to go over in detail, right? And this is where this is gonna be a big no-no, right? But before that, Adrian mentioned something, and I found it so fucking hilarious, and I wanted to make sure because I didn't remember because sometimes I omit this from my vision because it's so ugly. But Adrian said in the opening, sometimes it looks better than what's actually shown to us. Because in the opening, we get Anak versus Ran. We see like a fight of Anak versus Ran. And then we see obviously like Wangnan and Code doing their own shit, doing explosions. Like right here, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, oh shit, they're doing shit. Oh damn. It looks better here than it does in the actual show. Like, are you kidding me?
Yeah, and we thought these were gonna be reused scenes.
Yeah, I thought it was gonna be reused scenes, and that's already kind of bad, right? Like, okay, we're reusing shit, we're not making new shit. It's worse than that. It's scenes that aren't even there, and they're better. So either way, that's really sad. But one thing I want to put forth, right? This is where I always say this, and it's a very hard thing to define. It's sort of like if it's there, you notice it if you know both instances, right? If you're a reader and a watcher, if you've read the source material and you've seen it, you'll know when this is done. And I'm not talking specifically for Tower of God, I'm talking in general, right? I call it this imaginary thing called fluff, right? There's times where sometimes you could add things in between, you could do things differently, maybe you could change things around order wise. There's a lot of things you could do to add anime fluff that's basically just not there from the manhwa. and you could do it to make it a better viewing experience. They do it sometimes well. In other episodes, I've mentioned where like, oh, I like that they added this extra scene, they added this and that. Now, granted, I wish they did it more, but sometimes they change the position around. Sometimes it doesn't matter. Sometimes it's worse. Sometimes it's better. Here, it is undoubtedly worse. Obviously, Adrian was, mixed feelings about them showing the Novik thing. I think, I don't know what went through their heads as to why would they show it in the episode after, right? At least they show it. It gives us closure and clarity. But I'm just viewing it from a viewer's perspective because I actually don't remember too much of this. So when I saw this shit, and I saw the last episode where Anak threw the thing, and she's like, "Oh, I hit him, right? Because there's like blood and stuff." But then I looked at Ran, and I'm like, "Wait, Ran's not hurt." So it's this moment of dissonance where I'm like, "Okay, things aren't adding up." And I had to, obviously just forget about it because the episode's still going. But it's like it caused me a moment of confusion where obviously that's rectified now. But the fact that they changed that point here, it's like it doesn't make sense. I think this was a terribly done thing and just leads to confusion, and it's dumb and it's stupid, and it's the exact opposite of what I say about adding fluff. This is like bad fluff. This is terrible. Sometimes they do it good though, but this one was not good. Like it just leads to confusion when you don't add it in at the right time. But yeah, it was a funny moment, and we will show it in the manhwa here eventually. But to go forward, right? Overall, basically, I feel like I'm gonna give a little bit more of a harsher opinion than Adrian. I'm still here. I'm still whatever. I still enjoy certain parts, but I've tempered my expectations, right? If I know I'm gonna get trash every night for dinner, and then in the trash I find like an unfucked ravioli, like it's not that dirty, I'm gonna be like, oh wow, this is great. It's not actually great, but it's great relative to what I'm thinking, right? And that's kind of where I'm at. That's kind of where we've been at for a while, and where I expect to be at for the rest of the shit. But the story was pretty good. I would say that things were okay. The runs were okay. The fights were just the same old, same old. This guy, man, I feel like this guy they barely like go into him. Now, granted, in the original source material, they probably don't go into him too much either. But the one good thing I will say about this episode, because God, was this fight fucking stupid. One of the biggest things, right? I always keep noticing is they're slow. When they do fight scenes and stuff, they just go slow. Like, holy shit. Like,
Mm-hmm.
okay, oh wow,
That was
boom.
surprisingly
Right?
fast.
That was fast, but there's like a moment where
I know
like
what you mean.
they're just doing shit and it's slow.
This looked alright though. This part.
Some of it looked okay, right? But it's like, oh, he's looking, oh, okay, boom. But it's like, they held it, it's fine. Okay, he's tossed him around. Bruh, the run here was just stupid. Like, they reuse scenes, right? Because they reuse this later on, too. Maybe not one-to-one, but they obviously, like, did it again. When he runs up here, he looks like just like a brute. And it's like, okay, it's kind of funny. Like, it's kind of comical.
He's bouncing on the ground.
And I've said it before with Ran, and I'll say it with Vespa. I think Vespa looks very, very undetailed and very plain. Now, they also, I mentioned this before too. This isn't really a spoiler. Vespa's a girl, by the way. But Vespa is very plain, very simple. And there's times where it's like you see Bomb, you see Kun, especially zoomed in Kun, and you see these great details on his eyes, right? Like sometimes they do the eyes really good, but only for Kun and Co. for some reason. And it's like when you zoom out Vespa, and especially Shibisu, sometimes they're simple. Now maybe that's like they're just taking one-to-one the manhwa of just how it was there too, because these are simple characters, right? But I feel like they're more downscaled than they are in the manhwa. And the basic comparison I'm always going to go to is Ran. Ran, as we've shown before in the manhwa, looks way, way better, right? There's moments where he's just chilling. There's moments where he's way more detailed, and you see like, okay, he's simple, but he's complex. For this, you just see Vespa, and you're just gonna think they're simple. That's it. It's like I feel like Vespa could literally be made by a high school student in like an art class or something. And it's like I feel like they did her kind of dirty, but it's like look at that shit. Like what was that? Like this was so like to me it felt like a little silly. It's like silly and so it's like oh like that felt almost like we slowed it down a little bit from what it actually should have been. And it's like what the fuck? But yeah, so, good story. Like, look at this shit, right? You see Bomb's face. You see the wrinkles in his mask. You see, like, a little bit of shadows here, glistening in his eyes, right? You see some eyelashes too. You see individual eyelashes here. Detail, right? Okay, cool. Then look at Vespa. Like, wow. Wow. Like, it almost looks like they're a background character, but they move them into the foreground. The fucking weapon has more detail than Vespa does. Like, what? Like, there's some actual, like, lighting here on Vespa's face. There's, like, barely anything. It's like, this is... It looks so plain. Like, okay, then we're back to good, right? We're back to good shit. And, like, oh my god, what is that? Oh, disgusting. Ew. Like, it's not even like it's in the background, but... And again, look, here. Good lighting, good detail. And then, oh yeah, here's the good one. So this is the part, and I'm going to unmute it here just to have the audio here, where everything, I think, coalesced into probably the best part of the entire episode. Again, not to say it's good, but of the whole episode, this is the peak of it. Oh shit, wow, what's that? Oh! Like, oh my god, okay, finally, right? And I heard that, I'm like, oh shit, right? Like, oh damn. Like, I finally felt something. And then they're like, oh shit. Oh my, like, look at Shibisu. Oh god, oh no. But yeah, so this is where, you know, we saw Bomb turn up finally, and he even like yelled. He was like, ah, like I felt it. This was the one time I was like, okay, cool. And it's a very simple thing too. They just walked up, right? We got some crazy ass animation. Like, what the hell? Are you kidding me?
Mm-hmm.
Like, oh my god.
What is this?
Yeah, like, you saw his fucking neck. Oh my god, I'm gonna play it one more time here. Like, okay, he punches him. Boom. Oh my, look at that shit. Like, cartoon stretching, and he's just out. Oh my god. Like, see, this moment was hype. I'm like, okay, finally. And, you know, for those of you who don't know, I love anime rage moments. This shit got me a little hard, but it just didn't follow through, right? We know the rest of the episode's kind of whatever. They kind of just flat out give up. You know, they're like, okay, let's leave, blah, blah. And, you know, it just is what it is. You know, the story goes on. It's cool. It's whatever. And then we see the Endor thing, which is nice. And we get to the ending. But, you know, I think it's a very good thing. And again, this is where it's not the anime doing this. It's just the story, right? It's like, oh, now we're left off like, oh, people are piecing together what's happening. And it's like, I like that. You know, it's unraveling, things are going. But that's not the anime doing it. It's just the story in general. But overall, it's just like, yeah, the Anak thing, it's like, I think they did this wrong. I think even with her throwing it, like, bro, she should have left a crater in the wall. For those of you who don't know, which I don't know how you don't, Anak is super fucking physically strong. Like, she is a quote-unquote princess of jihad, right? They don't fuck around. And we see that with Dorsey a little bit at the end here, too, where she's still busting up the bots that allegedly no one can handle. And she's doing it physically. Like, she's physically just beating them. You know, Anak here is just, like, pricking fucking, what's-his-face, Novik, with her fucking giant needle. And it's like, okay, I guess he's going to the doctor because he's getting a shot. Because that's basically what it looks like. It's just bullshit, you know. So I would say my review is just slightly worse than Adrian's. Again, the best thing was that punch. That's pretty much about it. Everything else kind of, I was just neutral / just, it's getting to the point where I'm like, it's so bad I'm just laughing. It's like I'm laughing because I'm trying to have a good time, but it's not that good. It's not that good. Yeah. But either way, that's pretty much my shit. So, unless you have any other opinions, Adrian, we will now move on to the section of the manhwa comparison.
Yep.
So, anything else to add, or we're good?
All good.
All right. So now, going back to the manhwa, again, this looks beautiful. Bang, bang, right? We heard that here. Here we see Verdi. A lot different lighting, too, right?
Love the octopus.
Yeah, like, the octopus is so silly. But, like, oh my god, look at the cute little face. Look at Verdi's face. She's like, oh... Like, it's amazing.
Sad we didn't get that.
Yeah, like, we kind
really
of...
sad.
We kind of did, but it's, like, weird because they gave it more detail. So I guess it's supposed to be this part, I guess. But it's like they did it differently. They didn't make her face chibi, which usually they do 1-to-1. And sometimes it looks a little weird, but at least they're attempting it. Here, they just didn't even do it, which is like, weird. Like, right here. I think it's right here it's supposed to be, where it's like, oh... So, you know, there Wang Nan's watching, and that's the end of that chapter, which, you know, I mentioned before that's what they're kind of doing now. So here, they're, you know, she's taking the pictures. Wang Nan's like, oh, shit. They're saying, like, oh, you know, fucking Kun seeing Verdi, he's like, oh shit, right? And this is where we see like he's actually searching her up in the lighthouse. We don't kind of get that little thing here. Like Kunja's just like, oh yeah, I remember her, whatever. Here it's like he's looking her up from a database. So a little bit more info about lighthouses there. And here we see this. So this is something I think the anime did differently, right? And this is what I'm talking about with the anime kind of fluff where they change certain things. Now, I don't know how I feel about this, right? Because here it's a very, very big mystery who this is. We don't know who this is. In the anime, we know exactly who this is. It's like, okay, we know extremely easily who this is. I'll see if I can get it here. I don't think I will because it's a little... Oh, yeah, it's right here. It's right here at the beginning. It's like, oh, I wonder who this person is right here.
Mystery.
And they're even talking too, huh?
Yeah.
Right? Here, it's like they kind of, anime, they gives it away. And I think most people are probably going to be like, that's worse. For the people who know both, I think it's ultimately worse if you like mystery. But, I think it's bad too. I think what that was stupid. They kind of gave it away. So here we have Bomb. He's like, okay, you're all done. Biole, Ju Biole Grace. Here they kind of did it differently. And I actually like what they kind of did in the anime here more than the manhwa. In the manhwa, he just shoots her and she leaves. In the anime, she gets to like walk up to him and then like, look like she's gonna do something. And as she's doing it, she's fading away. I think that is undoubtedly better. And if you don't think that, you might have to fight me. But it's stuff like that where it's like, okay, this was so short and it was almost nothing where, okay, he just shoots them. Now, maybe you can argue for the effect and stuff, but in the anime, I think that was actually such a better decision. Where it's like, I don't want to be, just shitting on them all the time. But here, right, they're leaving. She's like, okay, now I'm pissed. Oh, I'm going to get you, right? It's the same thing. But she was walking towards them and she was like going to do something, but she faded away. Here, it's just like she's floating down and she fades away extremely quickly. I think stuff like that is better. Here we see Novik. Novik is, telling him like, oh yeah, I'm all right. And he's kind of asking like, oh, why didn't you make them fail? Why'd you send them over? We'll see why here. And again, this is where obviously the manhwa also has moments where it's not too detailed. I mean, here, obviously that's Shibisu and Vespa, but it's understandable way more here because it's so not often. But here we see them. Here, like, look at the fucking aura here, right? Look at like the glow and everything. The way things are set up, especially with the lighting, I think is just most of the time vastly superior in the manhwa. We have Jaja in her PJs, which sadly we're never gonna get in the anime. And then we're getting ready to fight, and Bomb is telling Novik, hey, I have a little thing I need you to do. And we find out what that is in the anime too, where it's basically to shoot Repelejo. But yeah, so a lot of just story stuff. This looks already way fucking cooler. Like it's a still image, and it looks cooler. Like, are you kidding me? But here Vespa's like fighting Yuto, which is a hot girl, I'm assuming. We don't know. Hopefully we'll see. We'll see what happens. But here it looks like an actual fight's going on, not really a slideshow. And there's like stakes and stuff. It's like, oh wow, right? Vespa looks more detailed here. Vespa looks serious, right? Even the honey looks better. The jar literally looks better. So yeah, the fighting happens. A lot more cooler details. Very cool. Very cool. Shibisu standing here like a fucking G. Like, look at this shit. He here looks like a fucking baller pimp. In the anime, he kind of looked like he was just standing there. And I was like, okay, what the hell? Like, he was just kind of there, just like being like a third wheel. I was like, oh, okay.
Also, was he using his observers in the anime? No, right?
I don't think so. And we'll kind of see it right here.
Wave
like,
controller
oh my, yeah. Like, look at this shit. By the way, look at this shit. So that comes in, that blast. Oh no! Like Vespa just comes down here. Whereas
hands in.
Yeah, like in the manhwa, Vespa like goes really quickly behind her. Like, oh, you could tell like he's zoomed behind her. Here he just kind of like floats down. It's like, what the fuck? So even with just how they look sometimes, and again, Vespa looks very simple. Like, okay, they tried something here, right? I'm not going to say that was terrible. It was quick, it was repeated movements, which are the same, but, we can't expect greatness from every fight, especially because this is kind of, in the grand scope of things, a smaller-ish fight. But you know, at least this was okay. Here it's just like, okay, what is that? It's a little lazy,
Yeah.
but it's okay, right? It's not making me want to vomit. It's just making me hold it in. But yeah, so no observers from Shibisu here. So
Yeah, which is pretty lame because that should explain how he's like, you know, commanding the people. And
yeah,
stuff.
how he's helping as well. Here we see actual combat choreographed, amazing,
Yeah,
great.
that they couldn't do. Which
Yeah.
Sad.
Here we get the drill, looks pretty cool here too. It's like, oh shit, you see the lighting, Vespa's going quick. This whole fight in the mono made me think, wow, Vespa must be really fucking fast. And in the anime, it made me think the exact fucking opposite. Wow, Vespa's really slow and fat. So here we have Jubiole Grace saving Yuto. You know, I'm not going to go too in-depth into this because we already know what happens here if you've seen the anime, which you obviously should. We're here. But yeah, no, so Jubiole Grace saves her. You know, he's like, oh shit, now we're going to get our revenge on you. So it's pretty cool because, you know, Shibisu straight out said, like, yeah, we don't even care about winning. We're just here to fuck you up for Kun. And it's like, damn, that's some real homely shit. Like, okay, cool. So here, obviously, Viol is like, oh, you know, I need to hide my identity, which...
You forgot he asked, whatever you call it.
What?
Can I borrow your clothes?
He says something similar as well in the anime.
Oh, does he?
Says,
Okay, I don't remember
yeah.
he said that.
He said it differently. He's like, oh, I'm going to need to, like, rip your clothes a little bit.
He
did
blushing
say
thing in the background. Did that happen too?
No, it didn't. Like, oh my
Blushing
god,
through the
Yuto was like,
mask.
ooh, like she felt derby. And again, it's these little details that I hate that they have to skip out sometimes, which I don't think they do if they're smart with it, but obviously they weren't. We know where we're at. So, you know, we have like the Superman Clark Kent effect where I guess if he wears this, they don't know who he is, right? But that's fine. So here we get the little face off, which, you know, in this shit, it's really cool. Like, it's really epic. And again, it has to do with the vibe, right? Shibisu seems cool. He seems like a man on the mission. In the anime, he seems a little bit more goofier, especially after that fucking run last episode. But it's just like, you know, it seems a lot cooler, a lot better in the manhwa as usual. And here we have this stupid thing coming out. Looks way cooler here. In the fucking anime, when this happened, I literally said it looks like fucking piss. And I was like it looked okay at certain points, but again, it's just slow. It's like, oh, right? And it's kind of like a slideshow here. It's like, okay, no movement besides the water. Well, Shinsu, technically. Like, some of it looks okay, but here it's like, I don't know. I like it a lot more here. Obviously, we see Bomb's face. He's like, oh, shit, right? Here we see the effect. Wangnan's face looks beautiful here. You actually see the emotion. I don't know what it is, but you see the emotion. Here, Kun's running. You know, here, you know, in the anime, they show a little bit. Oh, now we see. I wonder who that is, right? Who's following him? Here we see a Tarask, right? I think they did this a little bit better, but also a little bit worse in the anime as well.
Yeah, the anime looked like he was right next to him. Like, why didn't they see each other?
Yeah, exactly. Like, they just walked past each other. It's like, oh, like, are you just looking straight ahead? Like, what the fuck is going on here?
In the
It's like, I thought
manhwa,
there was
they
gonna be
looked
an
like Kun was
interaction.
further away.
Yeah. But also, like, you know, this is where the anime does have sometimes a leg up. Not that this matters. Like, this isn't like a big thing, but, you know, here is where the background is a little bit more detailed than right here. Here it's a lot of dark space, which is fine, right? But something to notice that the anime does have some things. Again, not big things in terms of, like, how much it matters, but things that I end up noticing. Here we see Bomb is basically chained. You know, it's called the ring that basically sucks your soul, aka your Shinsu. And then Big Homie comes out. Big Homie comes out and it's like, damn, again, look at Shibisu, right? Shibisu looks like the overlord pimp mastermind with his, like, brute in front of him. In the anime, it didn't really look like that. But here we go, you know, they're fighting. We have some choreography. Here we go. Oh, shit, you know, Vespa shooting him. I think in the anime, they only had Vespa shoot from his little, like, stinger weapon that he was holding. I didn't think he had other stingers with him. I don't remember too much. Not that it really matters, but when Vespa was fighting, it was basically just from the one stinger. She didn't really have, like, other stuff floating, which makes me think they can't even handle, like, too much stuff going on in the fights. Like, they kind of just focus on person 1, person 2. It's like if there's too many floating parts, maybe they can't handle it. But here, you know, Bomb is basically trying to hold him off. Oh shit, we have some fighting here. Wow. Here, he's gonna punch him. Ooh, right? Here the anime did do it differently, and I don't know if it's better or worse, but they did show Bomb getting clocked, and you saw his like fucking head like go back like crazy. You saw his neck. Here, he's getting beaten. Vespa's coming in, looking very cool, by the way, very cool. And then here we see, and again, this was done way, way better here, because the anime looks slow as shit. Here we see Yuto tank the shot, and Bomb was like, oh no!
Yeah, it's while Bomb was standing too, whereas like previously he was on the floor in the
Yeah, and it
anime.
looked really awkward too. I feel like they held
Yeah.
it for really long. It was like, what the hell?
Yeah, it looks more natural in the manga.
Yeah. So that happens. Bomb is like, oh shit, like I'm angry now, right? And obviously Vespa says like, oh yeah, if you don't do this in 5 minutes, and now Bomb is pissed, right? This is scary. I'm like, oh fuck, right? They're going in. So in the mono here, we don't see any sort of a wing. This is a big difference here. So no wing, right? Bomb just smacks him. We see it for a moment.
Oh, there it is. It flashes.
Yeah, we see it for a moment, and then it's gone. Well, it's right there. But yeah, it's gone very quickly. So a little bit of a difference
gone,
here.
I think it is disappearing. In
Yeah,
that
it's fizzling out there. Yeah, it's pretty much out. So again, anime-wise, they're teasing certain things here. They're definitely extending it more. I don't know if it's a good or a bad thing. What do you think about this, Adrian?
I think I like the manhwa better because the manhwa kind of shows it like as a burst of power, whereas this one looks like a strict like continuous power.
Like a transformation almost.
Yeah, which I don't think is accurate. Yeah.
So it's pushing the bounds. Like this is where the fluff is changing things too much.
So I'll give them credit because I like the way that it looked. I think it looks pretty good, but I think the flash would have been way cooler if like just in the moment, boom, he just flashes the red power and punches the dude, and then I think it would make it look better in my opinion.
Yeah, I mean, knowing them, they would do it in a slideshow, but yeah.
But I guess I'm not too crazy against
like
it
look at how
either.
slow this shit is, man. Oh my god. Like, okay, like does this even happen?
Oh, there was worse situations than that. That was all right, I think, in my opinion.
It was oh my god. Yeah, but so here, Bomb basically knocks him out. Vespa's like, oh shit, I gotta go in, right?
Yeah,
so
Bomb doesn't have the power anymore.
Yeah, Bomb is like, okay, he's not doing it. He just grabs this shit. So you see a little bit of a flash again.
Oh yeah, you're right.
So it does come up slightly again, but again, these things. So the common trend I'm seeing is the anime really just treats you like an idiot, and they just show things straight up. Whereas in the manhwa, there's mystery to it, and there's kind of ambiguity, which I think overall is a better thing when it's done this way. So
yeah, small things. I kind of like the way Bomb caught it in the anime. Okay, I like that throw better, but I did like how Bomb caught it in the anime, like by catching it from the big part. I thought that was kind of cool.
Yeah. I think this is more epic, honestly. He's catching it from the needle.
No, I agree. But it doesn't mean that I don't like the way even though the anime did it differently,
it was okay.
Dislike it, yeah.
Yeah, it was okay.
Dude, look at Bomb putting the Glock to him.
Give me the honey. Put the money in the bag.
For real, look, he's like he got the mask on and everything.
Yeah, he's a mugger, bruh. So yeah, this is where I think the anime did this just poorly. It's like Vespa's standing here. Bomb is just saying like, hey, like, work with me or else.
With each other. Yeah, it wasn't really. There's no threat, really.
Yeah, it's like, oh, I'll return Vespa to you. Vespa could just run over right now. Like, what?
You saw how fast Vespa was.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Well, in the manhwa we did, in the anime we didn't, but
yeah. Well, they implied.
Whatever. Yeah, like here, it actually looks like Bomb beat them, and like, oh, if you're gonna like go near them, he'll do something. He literally has the gun. He has the gun.
Look at the distance between them.
Exactly.
Shibisu was like within walking. It kind of reminds me of like the time when they were at the Hand of Arlen, where like Shia let Kun get right up on Bomb's face.
Yeah, like breathe on him.
Yeah, before she pulled out the bomb, I'm like, dude, there's no shot Kun wouldn't have recognized him from that distance.
Exactly. And here we see a little bit more of the, the little red thing, whatever that might be. Oh, I don't know. I don't know what that is. But here we have Verdi, and oh my, like, look at this. So much cooler. So much cooler. You think this is about to like Horiang is about to catch a case maybe with what's about to happen. Yeah, Tarask is being fucking gigantic. How did this look in the fucking anime again? Let me see this shit. Oh wow, okay. Like what is this? Like here they don't even like okay, he just walks in. Like it's so civil, it's like okay. Like bro, what the fuck? Like look at this shit. Like oh wow, right? But either way, this guy's eating shit, you know, everything's happening. And they had a little bit of a difference here. So Vespa was like, oh, in the anime, my adult form, and the manga was, oh, if I do my metamorphosis, you know,
Yeah.
slight difference. I think same result. It's honestly fine. But
Yeah. We
you
know
know,
Vespa's a bugger.
yeah. So Shibisu's like, yeah, let's head back, and Verdi's like, oh, okay, you know, I'm out of here. And this is where Verdi is, I think, a lot more creepy, in the manhwa, because in the anime she's just saying like goodbye to Horyang. In the manhwa she's like, oh, I'm gonna make you my doll too. Like she's creepy. Like what the fuck? And then Wang Nong comes in. He gets jobbed, which is pretty funny. I think it looks funnier in the or in the manhwa as well. Like look at this shit. The octopus doesn't do that in the fucking anime. It doesn't start flexing on them. And then Wang Nong's like, oh my god, you know. And then she's like, okay, I'm out of here. Right? So again, and here, like, it's a gigantic fucking blast of water. In the anime, it kind of looked kind of shitty. Like, it was a little blast, but it seemed like a fucking wet squirt, if nothing else. Let's see if it's right here. So, yeah. It's like it's a very small jet. It's like, okay, that just looks like it's pissing. Here, it looks like it's shitting. It's like, oh, damn. Right? It's going all over us. And then here we see all the people that they fucked up, which is, you know, kind of adding to Verdi's creepiness. But that was in the anime as well. So here, you know, again, this just looks way more epic because here it actually works that there's no background. I think having no background here actually helps the ambiance here. Again, anime just kind of ruins it. He kind of walks away and it's very slow. Here it's like a lot more quick, which is ironic because I would feel like the anime would want to go quick with that for time reasonings. But here, you know, we see Shibisu basically agreeing. He's like, okay, you know, you kept your promise. I kind of respect that. You know, you want to save your teammate, whatever. We actually see Yuto bandaged up a little bit. So again, more details that they don't want to add in the anime for God knows what. And, you know, a very cool image here of like, you know, Bomb just watching Shibisu while Shibisu walks away. And it's like, oh, you know, you actually care about your teammates. Like, even though I hate you, I respect that. And it's cool. So here, you know, Bomb is checking on Yuto. Nova comes in. He's like, yeah, you know, I did what you told me to do. And, you know, this is where I'm a little scared to keep going forward because I think we might get into spoiler territory here because they might start switching up things. But let me see. So, yeah, they kind of changed things around here.
Yeah.
Yeah, they changed it around here. This was a little earlier in the anime. Here, Kun's here. And then, you know, he's walking away, but oh, look who the shadow was the whole time. So in the anime, they kind of showed Rack actually confronting him. And then we kind of left it there. Here, Verdi, you know, they're kind of going over the game plan. They're like, oh, what happened, right? And then here, Shibisu is basically glazing Bomb without even realizing it. And Shibisu's like, oh, like, what the hell are you doing? Who are these people? And, you know, Verdi is a little weird even by their standards. They're like, oh, okay. He's like, you're doing the weird thing again. Slight difference in the anime. In the anime, he said, like, oh, you know, she got bit by, like, a weird bug. And this, he's like, oh, that's your weird hobby. So, anime translation a little weird. They're just shooting my boy Lare, man. In the anime, he was wrapped up. Which, again, I think they have, like, one like, model for Lare right now. It's just him wrapped up, which I think is fine, but... Again, in the manga, we see at least a different unwrapped Lare, which is cool. So then here he gets shot, and then we see everyone getting shot, which they show here. They show a lot more better in the manga here. Again, just more details, right? They're actually showing who's getting shot, who's doing the shooting. In the anime, they kind of just like make it very, very ambiguous, and we don't know who's who. Like they do this in the anime. This right here, like all the bangings, bang, bang, bang. You know, the gunshots. That's basically what's in the anime. And that's basically it. I'll end it here because we're probably going to see something we're not supposed to for the anime onlys. But that's basically, you know, same opinions. Just I think they did a lot of things worse. Man was, you know, 9 out of 10 times better. Some stuff in the anime is decent. Some of it holds up. Some of it, very rarely in a Blue Moon, I think is slightly better. Like the thing with the knock running to him slightly. But again, that's like 1% of what the actual meat should be. And it's like, okay. So yeah, basically that. You have anything else to add, Adrian?
I think that's it. Pretty much, yeah. We covered most of it.
So that's pretty much it. Obviously, same theme. Go read the manga, right? Go watch our reading of the manhwa even better.
Yeah.
And yeah.
Got the playlist.
Yep. Same old shit. You know, we'll be back next week to review it. Probably say it's well within expectations and we hate it, but we might like one or two things. And then we'll go over the manhwa again. We'll do it all over again. So that's going to be it for us. We hope everyone enjoyed. Please tell us what you thought of the episode, and we'll see you next time. Eee! Oh, God. It's time to end it.